The Labyrinth of Desires. Once upon a time, nestled in a valley, kissed by the sun, and shrouded in ancient woods, lived three brothers. Eldrin, the eldest, possessed a mind as sharp as flint. Bram, the middle brother, carried a heart overflowing with empathy, and the youngest, Finn, had a spirit as wild and untamed as the wind. They lived a humble life, tending their small farm, but each yearned for something more, something beyond the familiar boundaries of their valley. One crisp autumn evening, a weathered traveler, his cloak the color of twilight, sought shelter at their doorstep. He spoke of wonders and dangers beyond the mountains, of a legendary labyrinth of desires, hidden deep within the whispering woods. This labyrinth, he claimed, held the answers to one's truest desires, but its paths were paved with riddles, and its guardians tested the very core of one's being. He warned them, "Many enter, few return, and those who do are forever changed." Eldrin, with his thirst for knowledge and understanding, was immediately captivated. Bram, driven by a desire to help those in need, saw the labyrinth as a potential source of power for good. And Finn, restless and forever chasing the horizon, saw it as the ultimate adventure. Despite the travelers' warnings, they decided to seek out the labyrinth of desires. The journey was arduous. They traversed treacherous peaks and navigated murky swamps, their brotherhood tested by hunger, fatigue, and the growing unease that settled upon them as they neared the whispering woods. The trees there seemed to lean inwards, their gnarled branches like skeletal fingers pointing the way, and the air hummed with an almost palpable magic. At the heart of the woods, bathed in an ethereal glow, stood the entrance to the labyrinth, a towering archway woven from living vines and shimmering moss. As they stepped through, the world shifted. The air grew thick with the scent of exotic flowers, and the ground beneath their feet transformed into a mosaic of polished stones, each reflecting their faces with a distorted, almost mocking gaze. The labyrinth was a maze of twisting corridors and shimmering chambers, each guarded by a creature of myth and magic, each posing a riddle that tested a different aspect of their character. The first guardian was a sphinx, perched atop a pyramid of fallen dreams. Her eyes, pools of ancient wisdom, pierced Eldrin's heart. "I have cities, but no houses, forests, but no trees, and water, but no fish. What am I?" she boomed. Eldrin, the scholar, recognized the riddle. He spent hours pacing, contemplating every facet of the Sphinx's words. He considered maps, philosophies, and forgotten languages. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the answer dawned on him. "A map," he declared. The Sphinx smiled, a slow, unsettling gesture. "Correct, but knowledge alone is not enough. Are you prepared to shoulder the responsibility that comes with understanding?" With a final, cryptic warning, she vanished, and the path ahead opened. Eldrin, though relieved, felt a profound weight settle on his shoulders. The Sphinx's words echoed in his mind, planting seeds of doubt. The next chamber was shrouded in mist, the air thick with the sound of mournful weeping. Before them stood a will-o'-the-wisp, a shimmering orb of light drifting aimlessly. "I feed on sorrow, grow strong on despair," it whispered in a voice like wind through dry leaves. "To pass me, you must alleviate the suffering of another, without seeking reward." Bram, his heart heavy with compassion, knew what he had to do. He closed his eyes and focused on the sadness he felt in the world, the pain of the lost and the lonely. But instead of succumbing to it, he used his empathy to channel it, to transform it into a soothing balm. He spoke words of comfort, of hope, and of understanding, weaving a tapestry of light to dispel the surrounding gloom. Slowly, the weeping ceased. The will-o'-the-wisp dimmed, its light flickering weakly. "You have truly given without wanting," it sighed, fading into nothingness. Bram felt a profound sense of peace, but also a deep understanding of the burden of empathy. He realized that true compassion demanded not only feeling the pain of others but also offering them the strength to bear it. The youngest brother, Finn, faced the final guardian, a fearsome griffin, its eyes burning with untamed fire, guarding a passage that led straight upwards into the sky. "Only those who can tame the wild spirit within themselves can pass," it roared, its voice vibrating through the very ground. "Answer me this. What is always coming, but never arrives?" Finn, the wild spirit, was confused. He had always embraced his impulsiveness, his thirst for freedom. Taming his spirit seemed like destroying his very essence, but he also understood that uncontrolled freedom was just chaos. He looked deep within himself, acknowledging the recklessness that often led him astray, the impatience that blinded him to the present moment. He realized the answer wasn't about suppressing his wildness, but about directing it. It was about harnessing his energy, channeling his passions, and learning to control his impulses. "Tomorrow," he declared, his voice ringing with newfound conviction. "Tomorrow is always coming, but never arrives, because when it does become reality, it is no longer tomorrow but today." The griffin, impressed by Finn's self-awareness, nodded slowly. "You have learned to master your own wildness," it said, spreading its magnificent wings. "Fly, and face your own destiny." The brothers continued their journey, each changed by their encounters. They found themselves in a vast, shimmering chamber at the very heart of the labyrinth. In the center stood a single, ornate mirror, its surface reflecting not their physical forms, but their deepest desires. Eldrin saw within the mirror a reflection of himself surrounded by endless scrolls and books, revered as the wisest man in the world. But then the image shifted, showing him alone, isolated in his knowledge, unable to connect with anyone on a meaningful level. Bram saw himself surrounded by people he had helped, their faces shining with gratitude. But then the image shifted, revealing his own exhaustion, his own needs neglected in his constant striving to alleviate the suffering of others. Finn saw himself soaring through the skies, exploring uncharted lands, forever free from constraint. But then the image shifted, showing him alone and adrift, without a home or purpose. The mirror showed them the truth, that even the purest desires, pursued without balance, could lead to ruin. Their true desires weren't power, recognition, or endless freedom, but something far simpler. To use their individual strengths to support each other, to build a life of meaning and purpose together. Eldrin, accepting the limitations of knowledge, vowed to use his wisdom to guide and mentor others. Bram, understanding the importance of self-care, promised to balance his compassion with personal well-being. And Finn, embracing the value of connection, resolved to ground his freedom in a sense of belonging. Together, hand in hand, the three brothers left the labyrinth of desires, forever changed by the riddles they had solved and the truths they had uncovered. They returned to their valley, not as simple farmers, but as wise leaders, compassionate healers, and adventurous spirits. They built a thriving community, guided by knowledge, fueled by empathy, and inspired by a shared sense of purpose. And so, the tale of the three brothers who braved the labyrinth of desires became a legend, a reminder that the path to fulfilling one's dreams lies not in seeking them blindly, but in understanding oneself, balancing desires, and embracing the power of brotherhood. For true happiness, they discovered, was not found within the labyrinth, but on the journey home, together,